Hi, welcome. Today we're going to make Lebanese kafta or ground beef kebab with vegetables. To make this dish, we need 1 bunch parsley and make sure to wash it first. Keep the bunch tied together and then chop off the stems. Now thinly cut the leaves. To make our kafta meat, we also need 1 onion. Put the onion in the food processor because I want it to be finely chopped. This would help the onion to mix better with our meat and would make our meat tastier. Put the chopped onion in a strainer to drain its water. Add a little bit salt to the onions to help drain the liquid. And then mix the onions with your hand while pressing down to remove any excess water. We'll discard the water that came out of the onion. This step would help our meat not to be too moist. For the kafta meat, I have 2 pounds ground beef with 15% fat. You can get more fat percentage but not less, otherwise your kafta won't taste good without fat. Add salt, cinnamon, allspice and black pepper. Add a little bit baking powder to absorb any moisture. Now add the onions and the parsley. Now mix the ingredients together for about 3 minutes. Our kafta or kebab is now ready. Let's sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes before using or overnight. For the toppings, we need the following vegetables. Start slicing the potatoes into thin slices. Make sure that the slices are not too thin. Slice the onions into circles. Slice the tomatoes as well, make sure to remove the top. Put the vegetables aside and let's start preparing our dish. In a pan, put vegetable oil, add the potatoes. I'm just going to fry them 2 minutes on each side just to get some color and flavor. You can add them on top of the meat if you want without frying, but they would taste more like boiled potatoes. And this is much tastier if you fry them just for a little bit. When you finish the whole batch, just take the potatoes out and put them aside. In the same pan, I'm going to put my kafta meat. Press it down evenly by hand. I'm going to use the whole amount. Cut it into triangles or squares and then turn the heat on medium. We're just going to fry it a little bit before we start adding the vegetables that we previously prepared. Your meat shouldn't be cooked all the way because it still needs time to cook with the vegetables that we prepared. I'll cut it one more time as it's cooking to allow the meat to cook evenly. I will just fry it for a few minutes. I still want it to be medium rare, so I'm not gonna cook it all the way. If your pan is smaller and each piece is thicker, you can turn it over to cook on the other side, but mine looks fine. I'm not gonna turn them over. Now let's start layering the vegetables. We start putting the onions first. Then we add our potatoes on top of the onions. And last we put the tomatoes. For the sauce, we need 1.5 tablespoon tomato paste, a juice of 1 lemon, 2 tablespoons pomegranate molasses, salt, allspice, cinnamon, and black pepper. Add 2 cups boiling water. Mix the sauce ingredients together. Pour the mixture over the vegetables and the meat. Turn the heat up, and when the water starts boiling, cover it with parchment paper that I wet with water to prevent burning, and then put a layer of aluminum foil on top and seal it tightly. Put the heat on medium-low and cook for about 30 to 40 minutes. This is how it looks after it's done. You can eat it by itself or with a side of rice. Hope you like it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.